Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Are you a smoker or a non-smoker? Are you a vegetarian or are you a carnivore? Are you an American or a French person? How you answer these questions impacts how you experience your life, and how others see you and how others label you impact that as well. In this video, I'm going to share with you a couple of recent experiences I've had, that one positive and one negative, that show exactly that. And stay tuned to the end, because I'm going to share how you can use labeling to your advantage. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, consider doing so and clicking the notification bell. What that does is that lets you know every time I upload a video about moving abroad, life in France, or finding the confidence and courage to live life on your terms. My name is Patricia Brooks, and 5 years ago, I moved from Richmond, Virginia to the south of France. And it's been an incredible experience with some ups and some downs, and I have grown so much. And in this video, I want to share with you how self-identity and how I see myself has impacted my ability to make such a big change in my life and to integrate as I have. All right. So over the last 48 hours, I've had a couple of really interesting situations happen to me. I am on online dating, and I engaged with an online conversation with a guy who, yeah, my gut, I thought, I don't think he's going to be the right one, but I was open to finding out for sure. And boy, did I find out. And in the conversation started out by talking about career. He asked me, "Oh, I see you're a life coach. Tell me about that." And he asked me 3 or 4 questions in one message. And I was not really that happy with that, because it felt like it reminded me of when I was in the United States and I'd go to a party and the first question that somebody would ask me is, "What do you do for a living?" And I never liked it, right? I didn't like it at a party. I don't necessarily like it on an online dating site, but I indulged and I responded and I answered all of 3 or 4 questions, and this is all in French. And so I'd kind of find the right words to explain exactly what I was doing. And then it felt a little bit judgmental, because when he responded, "Oh, you only help women?" And this is how I read it. This was written word, so I don't know if there was judgment there, but it felt that way. And I explained that, right? So anyway, we messaged back and forth a couple more times, and I'm thinking, I'm not really feeling this guy. I don't think he's the right one for me. Then he asked me to WhatsApp with him. And I'm like, well, this will definitely help me to figure out for sure, once and for all, whether or not he is a viable candidate. So then, after I sent him my WhatsApp number, which is tied to my US number, as I told him, he asked, "Well, what is the country code +1? Is that the US? Are you an American?" Now, I was a little shocked that he didn't know that I was an American. It's in my profile, although the place where it says nationality, there's not a place for American, so I had to put other, but I clearly described myself as an American. But anyway, he wasn't sure of that, and he asked the question, and I'm like, "Yes, I'm an American. My WhatsApp number is tied to my American number." He was like, "Oh, I would prefer a French number." I'm like, "I have a French number, but I can't WhatsApp you, right?" And then he went on to ask me, "Well, are you an American? Are you 100% American? Or are you Franco-American?" And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me. What does it matter?" But I responded. And at that point, I knew that was it. And I responded and I said, "I don't think that we were really made for each other, And I kind of was extricating myself from this messaging and this relationship. And he didn't really get that. And he then went on to drill down about, "Oh, did you vote for Trump?" And all of these things that he had in his mind about what Americans are about. And I had to stop and say, "You know what? I am more than just where I was born. I am more than what you think an American is. I have hobbies and likes and dislikes, and they are different for everybody. And why not try to get to know me instead of trying to see what the differences are between us? And I ended it with, good luck on finding somebody else. Bonne continuation was what I wrote. And I was hoping that would get the message across, and it did. But this whole experience really just goes to show you what labeling can do, how it can impact relationships, and how it can impact you when somebody puts a label on you that has certain undertones or ideas behind it. Now, I did not take offense when he was like, "Oh, you're an American. Oh, but are you 100% American, or are you 50% French and 50% American?" Right? I didn't take offense with that. It didn't make me feel good, but I didn't take it personally. I didn't think, "Oh my gosh, I'm an American. I'm in France. I'm trying to find a suitable partner. And oh my gosh, this is going to be against me." But had I, taken that label and how he saw me and really taken it to heart, it could impact me. It could negatively impact me. So that is one way that labels can be hurtful or harmful. And I think that knowing how you identify, how you self-identify is important, because while I was born in the United States, I see myself as more than just an American. All right. So that's one situation that happened in the last 48 hours around labeling, around self-identity. Not so pleasant. But at the end of the day, no harm, no foul. What do you think about labels? Have you ever experienced a situation like this? Let me know in the comments. All right, now on to something a little bit more uplifting. Last night, I went out to see a play. It was the French version of Educating Rita, and it was put on by a friend of mine. And I was really excited about going to see this play. And I had asked a friend to go with me. She's got a baby, and she decided that she wasn't going to be able to make it because the baby was a little bit tired, and she didn't think the baby would be able to, sit through the whole show. And so I was like, that's fine. I had committed to going before I even asked if she wanted to come. And so I went by myself, and I found a row, like 4 seats up or 4 rows up, and I sat on the end. In the airplane, I'm an aisle sitter, and I kind of like having that liberty to be able to get up when I want to or need to. So I sat there, and there was somebody who was like 4 seats in from me. And I was sitting there, got there about 15 minutes early, and the woman in the row right in front of me had turned around, and she saw me. She's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Well, turns out she attends my Qigong class. And so then she said, she was talking to the woman who was 4 seats away from me on my row, and said, "Oh, she's an American." And it was a completely different experience from the experience I had before. More positive. It wasn't a judgmental. It was just an identifier. And it was interesting or important because the woman seated 4 seats down from me is an English teacher and has relatives who live in the Midwest of the United States. And so there was this connection there. And so we started this conversation, part in French, part in English. And it was a good experience. I got to know this person who I go to Qigong with all of the time, but really don't know. And got to meet some people in my village. And it was different. It was like, yeah, definitely I'm different. Definitely this was a label. But there was nothing negative associated with it. And so that was the experience I had. I will say that, once again, my grounding with my self-identity and who I see myself to be played a big role there, because I could have very much felt isolated. Oh my gosh, here I am. I'm different from everybody else. But instead, it got the conversation started. I actually moved in a couple of seats, so I wasn't shouting across the theater to have this conversation. And I felt connected. And so it's really interesting how the same label can have an impact, a different impact in 2 different situations. how you self-identify, this is just one example, impacts how you experience life. In my program, I help women make a move abroad confidently and sustainably. And one key factor is self-identity, because a lot of times we will put up roadblocks or hurdles in the way of our getting what we want because we don't see ourselves in a certain way. We don't identify in a certain way. We label ourselves as somebody other than the kind of person who moves abroad confidently, joyfully, sustainably, right? And when we see ourselves as not that kind of person, then we do things that prove that we aren't that kind of person and that hold us back from making the progress and making the move that we so want to. And so it's important to be aware of how you self-identify, be aware of how other people may be labeling you and how you respond to that labeling. How does this topic sit with you? What do you think about labels? Are they good? Are they bad? Let me know in the comments. Now, you may be wanting to make a move abroad, and you may be wanting to integrate into your new country more easily, but you might have some doubt about that. You might not necessarily see yourself as the kind of person who does it. And in order to get there, you need to bridge that gap. If that sounds like you, I'd love to have a conversation and see where you are in your journey and how I might be able to help you to bridge that gap. I'm going to put a link to my calendar where you can schedule a complimentary discovery call and we can go from there. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment, and subscribe. That is all I have for you today. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.